What's up, YouTube? Welcome to John's Daily Hustle. For those of you that have been following me know that I've had a pretty rough year. You guys can go check that video out and see exactly what I mean. Well, my luck strikes again and my truck broke down. Here's a quick clip. So as you guys can see right there, the heater core hose ended up breaking on my truck and it blew out steam and coolant and just everything everywhere, and it was a bad day. So the truck ended up breaking down. I was on the rougher side of town, so I had to get my nephew to come help me because I didn't want to leave all my equipment laying there, and my wife Catherine was sleeping because she works nights, as well as she doesn't have a vehicle able to pull my trailer. My truck was broken down and I didn't have time to look at it because a storm was rolling in and I was trying to get caught up for the day. Well, when your truck breaks down and you got to have your awesome nephew come help you get your stuff home. As y'all can see right there, my nephew did come and help me. He did come get my trailer and we brought it home and I got all my stuff unloaded. I left my truck up there. So thank you again for that, Keith. So because of that, I fell behind about 2.5 to 3 days on work because I didn't have my truck available to pull a trailer at all. To get caught up, I'm actually going to load my Toro timemaster 30-inch mower into the trunk of my wife's car, and we're going to use my wife's car as my lawn setup for the day. This is my life. I'm getting ready to fold this baby up and we're going to pick it up and stick it in there. It's pretty heavy, but I'm going to have to do it to get done with the day. So let's see if I can keep it from rolling and hitting my head up there. Well, I made it all fit. I don't think it's going to roll on me, so this is going to be a lot of fun. Alright, so I did make it to my first customer's house. I was hoping to get a video of me unloading and loading the car at each one of my customer's house. However, because I don't have my truck, I don't actually have my window mount for my camera set up. It's all left in the truck, which was left sitting in the Menards parking lot. So as you guys are watching this video, you can make fun of me for doing a lot of things wrong, like the way I was trimming. I actually did this backwards, and I did a lot of things out of the ordinary that I normally do. I usually have a pretty good system or routine down for every customer's house that I get to, but because I was too worried about recording, as well as I was pissed off about my truck breaking down and having to use my wife's car, I was just really out of my zone. You know, I wasn't with it in the head, I wasn't quite thinking, but you guys can see this is a little bit of a rougher property right there. You guys will really get a good angle and a good view of it with I'm actually mowing the Toro timemaster. You guys will see it's not a very even yard and it's not a perfect yard. So if you guys are looking for those like golf course looking, perfectly groomed yards, unfortunately this is not the channel for you because I do not have those. I have a couple of really nice yards, but for the most part my yards are either average looking yards or they, to be honest, are kind of crappy yards. So anyways, coming up real quick, as I get back to the front of the house, you guys are going to see the customer walked out and things get pretty emotional as she felt very bad for me and was so concerned about it. She actually teared up and started crying over it because of how bad she felt for me. You guys will see right here, I noticed she was walking out. Oh, I'm doing all right.
Gosh, I feel so bad for you.
Oh, it's all right. It's nothing you can do. It's just one thing after another. It's the way my whole year has been. So out of respect for her, I did cut out the part where she was crying, as well as she also talked about some of the stuff that's going on with her life and, you know, how the year's been for her. You know, we're kind of on the same parallel there, I guess you could say, as we've both had a pretty rough year this year. So we're about to jump to the mowing side of this video you guys are going to see. Unfortunately, like I had said, I did not have my camera mount set up to where I couldn't record me taking it in and out of the car. I think you guys would find that pretty entertaining on how I did it, but you guys saw back in the beginning of this video how I did it, at least loading it in anyways, and it was the same thing, pretty much copy and paste, repeat for every customer that I did today. Now, this wasn't a full route, as some of my customers I absolutely had to have a zero turn. Some of my customers also weren't too upset with me about me having to be there. You know, some of them weren't falling way behind. So a lot of them were like, hey, you're fine, you can just mow it again next week. As we are approaching the end of the season, so a lot of yards aren't quite growing as much. So anyways, one thing's for sure, this setup has really opened my mind and opened my eyes to a lot of things. You know, running this with just the Toro timemaster, it's really opened my mind up to doing the smaller setups, which I've got a whole video I'm planning on probably making, touching more base with that. But as I said in one of my last videos you guys watched of me, I had route density down where I was mowing 2 smaller yards, and that was where you really make a lot of money. Well, personally, after doing this, I realized that this small setup is a very, very profitable setup. Using my wife's car to get to each customer's house, which the car gets 45 miles to the gallon. It's a very efficient setup, just getting to each customer's house. There's not as much wear and tear. You know, I don't have a trailer, 45 miles a gallon as opposed to 14 or even less in my big truck with towing. It's actually a very profitable setup. I know I keep saying that, but it's the truth. It really opened my eyes and it really made me think about possible future setups. So in the future, again, this will be a whole nother video we're going to get into on where my future goals are for my business and where I want to be and what I want to do, but you guys can kind of get where I'm hinting at here. My future setup, I really want to focus on the much smaller yards. Now, unfortunately, at the time of this happened, you know, this happened in, what, October, I guess it was? We're in November now already, at the time of me editing this video, but I believe this happened in October. It was like the week before Halloween, if I remember right. I could be wrong on that dates anyways, but anywho, at the time of me editing this and recording this, the used vehicle market is just outrageous here in my area. So I knew I needed to do something. I know I needed a backup vehicle because my truck has left me stranded 4 times this year, and this was obviously the worst. None of them were serious other than this one. This was semi-serious as I overheated the truck pretty bad. Just trying to get out of the rough side of town, and I drained all the coolant out, but it was a risk I was willing to take, I guess you can say. But anyways, not having a backup vehicle has really set me behind and has really upset me and left me stranded quite a few times this year. So it's opened my eyes that, hey, I really need to have a backup vehicle. Now, as you guys know, I do run just a half-ton truck for now. I do plan on getting a bigger truck eventually down the road, but again, that's a whole nother later topic that we'll have to talk about. But anyways, my wife's car currently cannot pull a trailer, and even if I put a hitch on it, it cannot pull, you know, more than like 1,000 pounds. So I'm kind of stranded when my truck breaks down. So it's really opened my eyes that, hey, this is the 4th time. Most of my customers were all understanding about it by now, as I've had a pretty rough year, and most of my customers have kind of weeded out the bad ones that aren't quite understanding. But again, the ones that are understanding that life goes on and things happen, how many more times a year can I miss work? Can I miss mowing because of breakdowns or, you know, things going on in my personal life? But we'll just say breakdowns this year. How many more times are they going to keep saying, hey, you know, you can keep mowing. Hey, just don't worry about it. You'll get to it when you can. So it's one of those things constantly in my head, a fear of, you know, I'm just one breakdown away from losing everyone and that kind of thing. Even though I might not be, it's just that paranoia that's stuck in my head. So anyways, changing subject on to the mower, since you guys have been watching it here for the last couple of minutes, you guys might be able to tell it still is pulling a little bit to the left due to a breakdown that I had. You guys can go check that video out if you didn't see it. But at the time of me recording this, I do have the solution to fix that. And one of the next few videos you guys are going to see is going to be something unique and something a little different. You guys might be able to, you know, at least get a laugh out of it, what I'm going to do. But anyways, I do have the fix ready for it, and probably the next video you guys see with this mower, it will be fixed. So I just wanted to let you guys know something to look forward to, quite a few videos. I've got lots of content coming for you guys for this winter time. So just like last year, I'll have lots of mowing footage and just all kinds of good videos all throughout the winter time to keep you guys entertained. So Alright, so unfortunately my GoPro Hero died and I didn't carry any extra batteries with me because again, I keep all that stuff in my truck, so I wasn't able to record anymore. I was only able to record that one customer's house. But it's not like I had a full day doing that. I just had quite a few customers that needed to be done. Of course, it still sucked that I had to do that anyways. Definitely opened my mind and kind of changed the way I'm thinking about my future plans for my business. You guys, like I said, if you watched the video, you guys already heard a little bit about what I'm hinting there, as well as I'm hinting something else. But hey, you guys are just gonna have to stick around and find out what I mean by all that. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. And if you haven't hit the big thumbs up button in the beginning, please hit the big thumbs up button for me now. And as always, guys, I will see you on the next one.